Can you hear me now? Okay, now I'm seeing levels. Are you hearing me now? I'm so sorry. Should have checked that before I went live. That's the first time that happened. I don't know why. Maybe my USB is messed up. Okay, so sorry about that. Let me start over. Thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. You didn't have to deal with me horribly mispronouncing your name, so there's that. Uh, uh, Sorry. So thank you for coming in. I've never had somebody so early in the stream, so it's nice to know that there's somebody here from the get-go. Um, if you do not know, I do like in real time world building for my current D&D campaign. I also do other stuff in between when I need something different. We started the stream with a general dungeon building kind of thing. That's just kind of there if I need it. But right now we're working on the World of Galdor, um, a world I am building from the ground up. It is going to be based around Studio Ghibli kind of cozy, witchy, naturey kind of vibes. I'm trying my best to do less of a calamitous world creation myth on top of general running of the game is going to be a little less, sad vibes that sometimes D&D can get into. It's for Dungeons and Dragons. It's a live-action role-playing game with pen and paper and dice, and you get a group of friends, and you all make different characters, and you act as those characters while battling monsters and saving people and discovering the world that your GM, which would be me, creates for you, generally speaking. And there are a lot of levels to it that can go from mostly numbers and rolling dice to pure roleplay. I'm 75, probably more percent. Um, oh, Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah. My husband plays Warhammer 40K. I'm vaguely familiar with the fantasy side of things. I like the models. uh, but yeah, right now I have been. We have yet to start the campaign. The campaign will officially start in February. Um, I will not be recording it in any official capacity. This channel. I do not want to become an actual play channel. Uh, I love actual plays. However, I feel like the market is a little oversaturated with them. um, and I didn't think I had anything new to add to that aspect of the game, of the community, I guess you could say. So, what I decided is to create something that I wanted to find. I enjoy body mirroring as with an activity. So I work better if I have somebody else doing the same thing I need to do nearby. And this also translates to videos and streams. So the idea is for me to be the body mirror for other people that want to world build or plan for their Dungeons and Dragons session. So yeah, and it helps me. I found a couple people that were doing it, but they didn't do it often, and they didn't do it while I was doing it. So I decided to do it for myself, and hopefully there are other people out there that feel the same way. Uh, yeah, so, and if not, that's okay, because I'm gonna keep doing this, because I kind of enjoy it. And I also want to be a kind of a hub for people to come in and talk about the world building stuff that they're doing, the creative homebrew for the game, whatever it is that they're working on that involves creatively. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your follow. I hope you find something cool about the stream in between, even if I'm just background noise for you. That's very cool. Um, so yeah, and on this channel we believe in the power of play and the power of pretend. No matter what age you are, pretend and play have a place your world, and it's important for your mental health. At least I certainly believe and have read such claims, and I think it's relevant to anybody's life. I think humans were born, were evolved with stories, always as part of our idea of community and society. And from the time we were just telling stories around fires to now, where we watch, the latest big whatever movie that's coming out, those are all stories, and they're important. And there's a reason we all want to be a part of them, and why communities pop up around movies and books and stuff like that so quickly. So, off my soapbox once again. I tend to go on rants about stuff that are important to me, and that is definitely one of them. So, today I am going to. Oh, well, thank you. I'm happy you saw my little posts, and I just I hope you can find something cool to hang out in here, even if you're not generally part of the TTRPG community. World building can be a part of anybody's life, just for fun. Alright, great. Yeah, you too. You're always welcome, even if you're just lurking to have some background noise. I'll be talking about Galdor in between. If you have any ideas, please, please, please feel free to pitch in. And, that this is meant to be a community exercise. So, here we go. Alright, so I started working on the continents and the actual physical makeup of the world towards the end of last stream. And I had a kind of a start, and I was okay with it. But my husband made some suggestions. He has more of a mind of design and numbers and stuff, so I'm going to take his suggestions, and my now freshly erased incarnate map I will start building upon anew. So what he said was, so the main idea of the continents is I definitely knew I wanted a moon or crescent shaped continent to start, and then one other big continent to kind of center. So he made some suggestions there. Eventually, I did have just a big crescent moon here, and a big kind of blobby shape over here, and then a bunch of islands kind of surrounding it. And now, since this world is technically flat, there's a lot going on in that fantasy idea. We're gonna mess with that and the idea that the worlds are meant to be plants within a garden planted by the gods. So the main... there we go. The main continent, make that a little bigger, is gonna be kind of centered, kind of like that, more or less. We'll put some more style to it eventually, don't you worry. And what he suggested was to take my idea of crescent and moon-shaped islands and stuff around, and to surround it by that in this kind of flower petal kind of vibe. So we're gonna do that. Make these a little smaller. Now, getting the exact shape with this tool can be difficult, so I might have to start and restart here a couple times, so I beg your pardon. Since all I have is a mouse, I don't have anything cool like a tablet or anything like that. So we're gonna kind of travel outwards, try not to be too samey with the shape of these things. I will build them out. And then those are a bit too samey, aren't they? Okay, hang on. Let me do something. I'm gonna try to do more of a swirl kind of pattern. So if we start with this guy... Nope, I already messed it up. I'm bad at this. Maybe a little bigger. Maybe that's the problem. Okay. Okay. And then a little farther up. farther, and then farther there. And then these are going to be the thick boys. These are going to be the bigger areas. So we're going to build this out a bit. And I know it looks like a crinkle cut like French fry. We're gonna style it, don't you worry. There we go. There we go, a little better. Try not to be too samey, so we'll do this one kinda like that. And we're gonna add some more islands and stuff in between to make it make a little bit more sense. Okay. There we go. Maybe mess with the shape a little bit, but still keep it semi-moon-like, I guess. Alright, so gonna do this kinda up here and kinda run it around the others. Big one. Nah, too big. Don't like it. Starting to look like a face. That's bothering me. Hang on. Okay, let's start with these islands here. And let's... There we go. I'm gonna add some more bits and bobs in between. Okay. There we go. Some islands to hop around. Maybe one that's actually more of like a bridge to one of them. So short ferry rides kind of in between here. And some off the edge, because that's how keys work in the real world. So we gotta make it make a little bit of sense. Maybe not a lot, but a little. Okay. Mess around with the direction of things, and the shape, and with fantasy worlds, I know and I appreciate the community and how much they suggest trying to make stuff make sense. And generally, yes, correct. You should probably make it make sense, especially if you're writing a book, for instance. However, this is a little witchy magical game run by a 36-year-old woman that did not do well in geography. So we're not gonna try to make sense of absolutely everything. So if my biome building and whatnot don't make sense, that's okay. It's magic. Let's just, you know, and I know that's a cop-out. I get it. However, I enjoy just making things that look nice and that I think will be fun to run in. So that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so from there my husband did little doodles, so I'm trying to look at them and kind of reference them in between. So I want one big area, one other big continent. Like, maybe this is too surrounded. So if I took... I like the shape of this one a lot. Which one do I like the least? So it's between these two, this corner and that corner. What do I like the least? Probably this one. This one looks like the most like a French fry, and that bothers me. So we're gonna take this one away. And we're gonna do something a little bigger and a little more grand to represent one of the big continents of this world. Like, this is gonna be a big one, this is gonna be a big one, and then I want... This is gonna be the one that the characters are going to be spending most of their time on, I think. So, if we just do a big roundabout like that as our start, make it a little bigger, fill it out. And I know people like to talk about their various tools that they use to build their worlds. This is Incarnate. For a long time, I did have a paid subscription. I think I had it for about a year, not too long ago, and I did enjoy using the tools. And I don't remember how much this costs, honestly. I think it was like, I don't remember, honestly, I really don't. But at the time it felt like it was worth it. So I will say, if you have the extra money and you have little experience in regards to image making and things like that, which I have no idea how to work Photoshop. No earthly idea whatsoever. And I'd love to learn one day, but I just don't have the time nor the energy to do so. So if you're somebody that needs a little help in that respect, I think Incarnate is a great start. There are others, and I'm sure there are people that will have their own experiences to share, of what is better and worse. But as for me, Incarnate did pretty okay by me. So if that's something you're looking for, that's my suggestion to get started, if it's worth it. This is the free version. I am currently using the free version, which is it's limited, you know. There are people that, you know, make these things and work very hard on them, so they deserve their money, absolutely 100%. But I just do not, for a variety of reasons, have the extra cash right now. So I make do with what I've got and what I can afford, which is free. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. The RPG community is amazing and has so many amazing tools available to you. And like they say, if you sacrifice time, or if you sacrifice price, you're giving up time. That's your trade-off with a lot of these things. So if you're willing to spend the time, I think it can be pretty okay, especially for general ideas like this. This is not coming out how I want exactly. I think that the curve of it is not what I'm wanting here. So let me start over with this guy. Okay, here we go. Start there. Okay. There we go. Oh, hi Edwin, welcome on in. What do I have in mind for this world? A lot. So, the general idea of this D&D campaign, and thus the world, it's going to be highly inspired by cozy games like, you know, Minecraft, which, you know, depending on how many creepers you have, may or may not be cozy. But Minecraft, Stardew Valley, think about also Studio Ghibli, cozy, cute, witchy things. I'm trying to make something that can tell stories of a different kind. In that something a little less calamitous and violent, and, you know, and yes, the characters will be fighting monsters 1000%, but the basis of the storyline is going to be less around demons and, you know, that kind of thing, which I feel a lot of D&D stories tend to gravitate towards, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's fine. I mean, whatever ideas you have. It's not necessarily everything is cute. I just got my my last character rolled up Saturday, and she's going to be a warlock, and it's going to be starting a little dark. But they're all basically, it's going to be about primarily building a community for people that maybe haven't ever had a community of their own. That's what the story is going to be focused on. Maybe this is too tall. Maybe that's the problem. So that's the general idea. There will absolutely be combat. There will be, you know, family trauma, I'm sure, because that's a lot of the characters like to deal with sort of things like that in their games, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I can abide. But my style of running games tends to be a little bit more based off of roleplay. It's very roleplay heavy, and I know D&D is not always the system. I'm aware of many, many other systems. However, all of my players are brand new, damn near, I should say, brand new players. So they want to play what they know, and that is D&D 5e. It's also what I know, I'm going to be honest. And despite there being better systems for this, I have no doubt we're going to start with D&D, and maybe we'll transfer to something else later. Who knows? But yeah, I was inspired by. Well, I've always had this kind of hope for running a game in a group again. It's been a while for me. I'm just gonna cut it like that and make it even then. And making something a little less stressful. I meet with a big group of friends at a coffee club every 2 weeks or so, and that's where I met my who are going to be. Yes, the players have already made their characters. I finally got my last one. I've got 4. They've all made their general ideas of a witchy character, and that can go anywhere from your tarot card using warlock, which is going to be the darker side of magic in this world, to a gynosphinx character that just likes shiny things and is slowly becoming a wizard. So there's a range of things that I'm working with, and I'm trying to build the world to serve them and their stories. Mm. So Galdor itself is a world where I wanted to avoid, like I said, the more violent world births that a lot of things talk about. They always talk about a war between gods or something like that, or, you know. So, the way Galdor came to life is, imagine that, well, the Gyna Sphinx, she's gonna be the only one of her kind pretty much anywhere. That's gonna be a big part of her story. I'm not liking the shape of this at all. It's driving me crazy. So she's going to be the first of her kind, looking for a community, hence the main storyline. Then I've got a stout halfling ranger. No, Lightfoot, excuse me, Lightfoot ranger. Whose mother is missing, and they're trying to find her. She was a druid. Then I've got a half-elf warlock, and then I have a little goblin creature. We don't know if they're a goblin, they might be something completely different. I'm gonna mess with that a little bit too. But yeah, the races will be represented in their own way. This world's a lot more homogenous. Everybody kind of works more together, aside from general, like, 1 or 2 villages that might not be as cool as most other places. But maybe I'll just do it from this end. Maybe that'll look better. No, that's... So yeah, those are my races right now. And the idea for this game came from a runesmith video. I don't know if you've heard of that particular curator, but he's very good on YouTube. I find his videos very helpful and funny. But he's running a cozy campaign. He's talking about it right now, and his ideas were inspiring to me, so I really wanted to do what he's doing. So I am. with my own changes, of course. But I also wanted to challenge myself to create a world with my players, give them some interest and buy-in from the get-go, and they have run wild with their ideas, and I am so excited for all of their character stories. I've already written general outlines of how their stories will intersect farther down the line. And since they might be watching, I'm not going to go into too much information. But eventually I'll probably do like spoiler streams, especially after we stop we start playing the the actual campaign. So so there might be like warnings and stuff in the future. I've done that before already, but uh, so yeah, there's a range of characters, and I'm very, very excited to play with all of the ideas together. Um, this is a little better. Okay. So yeah, the world itself. I keep restarting. I'm sorry. The world itself was born out of a garden. The main goddess is Melora, or the a nature goddess. And she has kind of a garden plot. Think of the celestial realm, as it were, in D&D as a giant garden. Um, Now within that garden, there is one big tree, and that's Melora's plot. Melora has charge of most of the things in that plot. That big tree is our universe, um, physically, and I mean this literally. This is not a metaphorical story. This is actually what is there. Oh, there's my cat. Hi, Thumbs. That's one of my cats. Thumbs says hi. He'll come in and scream for food, I'm sure, at some point. He's not getting food, though, because it's not 2 yet. Anyway, so, right, so Melora has the universe tree, if we can think of it like that. And then on this tree, she grows other trees, or plants, or however you want to see it. Those are the planets or the planes of this universe. The celestial plane is just the biggest one, I guess you could say. Now, this tree being our world, we live at the very top of it, the boughs of it, the boughs, the canopies, whatever you want to call it, the very top of it. And I have a general blobby kind of picture of what I'm thinking for it. So let me load that up here. Here we go. So here's our world. This is the top side. That's where your general races are, on top. And yes, there's water and stuff in between, but this is just the general idea. So this is where your top side races, your elves and such, reside. There's the Vale. There is a strange in-between between this and the Underdark, or the Underbower, or the Evershade. There's a lot of words that are a lot of names that people have suggested. I haven't decided yet. I do like Evershade, though. So underneath the tree, where the sun doesn't quite reach, in that inner part of a tree, which is mostly just branches, that's your Underdark. So the theme of the Underdark is much different in this. Instead of your caves and dank, dark rock and stuff like that, it's like petrified wood kind of weaving in and out of itself, and it's a very confusing mess of a place. So that's the Underdark, and to reach any other planes outside, like the Feywild, the Shadowfell, the Nine Hells, if you do so choose. I haven't built them yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. You actually have to go down through this vale, which is like in the ocean, kind of surrounding the main areas of the world, main lands of the world. You have to go down through the Vale, which means down through the ocean. There might be portals elsewhere, but the main area that people know that leads to the Underdark is through the ocean in the Vale. And then from the Underbower, Underdark, under whatever, you can get to the other planes if you travel the trunk, basically. What that probably looks exactly like what you think of. There is a giant thing, and whether or not people recognize the world as a tree or not, I don't know. I haven't decided, really. I'm sure there, like every world, there are theories and stuff, but there's this big thing in the middle of the Underdark that actually, technically, by the gods' circumstance, leads down, but to the Underdark it leads up into the sky, and again, zooming out to that big tree, the universe tree, there are giant glowing fruits hanging in the sky, and that's your sun and your moons or any other planetary, bodies that you might have. So that's the general idea of this world, and in this world, everything is green and good. Everyone loves, to grow things, and anyone that doesn't goes to the Underbower. So your Drow, your Duergar, that kind of thing. And the only race that's crazy and heroic enough to commonly go through the Veil and into the Underbower are dwarves. Dwarves are not the greedy, xenophobic, Tolkien-esque kind of characters that general D&D history points at. Uh, Dwarves are accepted as plane skipping adventurers, so think of like Victorian adventurers going down into the ocean with those big bubble helmets, with the grate on the front, the diving suits. And they do that on purpose, and people think they're crazy, but they also see them as heroes because they discover things that no one else discovers. I'm very excited about dwarves in the story of this world. I really am. So, yeah. So that is my general outline of this world. Me and my husband and a couple people in the chat have made suggestions, and we've made changes in between. So that's where we're at this point. So if you look at this is basically looking down at the tree, from the top, if you want to think about like that. So that is what we're working on now. I'm getting my continents figured out, that kind of thing. And this is still driving me crazy, and I cannot get this shape right, and it is frustrating. Alright. I might just make one of these other ones bigger, and then just do smaller islands as we go out. I think that makes more sense. Here we go. Like I said, I am not artistically inclined, generally speaking, which is why I have to use tools like Incarnate to get the shapes I'm generally thinking of. So we're gonna do this, get these out of here. Don't worry, this is gonna be better than a blob here soon, but that's just what I'm working with for right now. So, oh, there's thumbs screaming. Okay. Hush, please. Nope, not enough. Not good. Let's start with the general shape. There we go. Then we follow it. And we follow it. So yeah, I've got my characters so far are the Gyna Sphinx Wizard. And we're starting from level 1, just FYI. We're starting from level 1. So Gyna Sphinx Wizard, who's the first free Gyna Sphinx in the world. So in this world, Gyna Sphinx and creatures like them are summoned by wizards or other powerful beings to guard something, right? So like your classic Egyptian Sphinx with the riddle, she was set to guard a tomb or a temple. We'll figure out what. I haven't written out all of that yet. I'm still waiting for their suggestions on how they want to deal with that part of their backstory. But so yeah, she's the first free Gyna Sphinx, so she's trying to find her way in a world that she doesn't quite understand. And then I've got my Halfling Ranger, who, like I said, she was very small when her mother disappeared, and she has been unable to unearth any information about her mother. And so she is going on this grand quest to find her. Her mother was a druid, and she's going to find her tribe first and foremost. So, and her father never spoke to her about her mother, and she couldn't make him for whatever reason. And so she's leaving home to find her, or at least information about her. Then I've got a little goblin person who is in this kind of tribalistic community, as you can guess, and he is charged with going out and finding wealth. That's it, basically. The tribe that he comes from is not necessarily sequestered, but they don't go out much, as you can imagine. And so they task one member of the group to go out and seek fortune, whatever that may mean to them. It's been, goblins are kind of hard to finagle, so sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see what this character figures out. And then I've got my half-elf warlock, who was an orphan, and was mistreated because of their half-elf ancestry and didn't know their parents. So they made a deal one day with all the abuse that they were suffering from with the other children, and they made a deal. And now they're a warlock. So, with a fae, specifically, that I'm building up as Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream. So that's the archfey that they made their deal with, which I'm excited for. I love Midsummer Night's Dream. So yeah, that's where I'm at. There's my characters. I'm very, very excited. It's gonna be an interesting game that I cannot wait to start. In interest of that, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go to the bathroom very, very quick. I will be right back. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Um, so yeah, I'm very, very excited for this campaign. I really, really am. And they're all going crazy, writing up details about their characters, and I'm so excited. And So is Thumbs. Hush, please. Um, so yeah, because I don't want anyone to be spoiled and I want my players to be able to see how a world comes together, either in stream or in the future. I upload my streams on YouTube as well. Um, I want to zoom out of my world building. Usually, yes, I would start from the outside or from the inside out. I would start with the area that they're starting in. And I have built that largely. It is largely built up exactly as much as I would want it built up because I want them to have some say in it as well. So, um, for right now, I want to keep my head in the game. I want to keep my head thinking about these things. So I've zoomed out and I've started to create other parts of the world that are relevant, but not necessarily spoiler territory. So that includes the world map. So here we are. So yeah, I am doing my best. Like my husband said, he said to kind of take a flower kind of shape with the petals kind of layering over each other with the continents. And then from there, build each nation. The main area that we're going to be starting in is going to be this island. That's where they're going to be based at. Then we'll discover more about the other islands as we go. So, so yeah, I love maps. Even though I'm not much of a combat DM, I love a good map in my books. If you have a novel that has a map in the front or the back of it, I am in it, and I love like flipping back and referencing back and forth to it. So I hope this can be a useful reference for the characters as we go and they get more curious about the world. um, so yeah, and I've got to... Let's see what we can do with that center island. It is a bit boring. Let's do something like... maybe cutting into it like this. That's a little too samey, isn't it? That's cool though. There we go. Yeah, so the area that they're visiting first is they're all going to be hired with your classic escort mission, trying to get a seller of things. A tree is an interesting idea. I opened my incarnate, took an image of a tree taken from above, and used it as a stamp that is the size of the whole map. Now experimenting a bit. Cool! That sounds really cool. Link me to it when you're messing with it. That's very cool. Probably a lot easier than building it like I am and doing it all from scratch. But hey, we're working with what we got. Now I'm just messing with shapes and seeing what this looks like. That's kind of cool, actually. Is that too many islands? Is not. I do need to make a desert somewhere. there is a Gynosphinx that was like kind of guarding an Egyptian type tomb. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But I like that. I like the way it looks a lot, actually. And spirals are often used in witchcraft to represent kind of the cycle of the world and stuff like that. So to have a spiral in the center of the world is pretty cool, if you ask me. Yeah, so I'm gonna mess with that idea, I think. Just kind of build it out a little bit. And more islands. Let's make them smaller here. More keys and such. Alright. This is fun. This is working out really cool already. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I'm very excited with these characters and see how they interact with the world, and I'm excited to maybe sometime later in my game running experiences to continue to run games in this world and explore different parts of it. That's always the coolest part of building a world, I think. Um, all right, so don't want to do mirroring, so let's do smaller ones here. Go. Although the petals do get bigger as they go, huh? So why don't I build out a little bit more? I'm not crazy about that shape, but that's okay. We can work with it. All right. So, yeah, and like even if they never get to, your Underdark or your plains hopping adventure, which I've never really done as a DM. I've never had a campaign last that long, to be completely honest. I have been DMing in one way or another for a very long time, but I stop and start my campaigns quite a bit, either because, player scheduling, the classic killer of games, or any other number of things. Uh, so yeah, I've never gotten to like the big plains hopping campaign type of campaigns. We do the Feywild a lot. I love the Feywild. It's a favorite, but I've never done, your celestial visit or anything like that. So maybe this will be the one to do it. I don't know. But that is entirely dependent on the players, of course, whether or not they're interested in such a thing. Um, yeah. So let me round this baby off a bit. So I think what would be cool in this one, the shape is bothering me. Let me do something a little bit better with that. Oh, that might have been too much. That's okay. That's what we have the undo button for. Nope, that's looking less and less like what I wanted. I think... Yeah, let me just run that part out. Maybe that'll help. There we go. That's looking better already. That's more what I'm looking for. Let me just cut and round it off a little bit more. Alright. So I think that is a great start for your general shape. Um, my husband also suggested that the edges of the world, be that as it may, are particularly, here there be dragon style. So we're just gonna do um, kind of a... What's going on? Why aren't you painting? Here, let's do this. Hello. Hello. Why aren't you working? What? Oh, it's because I have the foreground. Okay, here we go. Haha, there we go. I got it. Alright. Learning these tools. No, I don't need you that hard. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna kind of represent these scary places with a general just darkened border. And yes, some of the land will overlap with that, and that's where stuff is gonna get weird. So if we think of the world, and I know this is not a circle map, unfortunately. Oh, no. So it's kind of hard to get the flat earth idea across. Also, please do not think I am a flat earth person. I am not. This is just a cool idea to mess with, and like it answers kind of some ideas that you have for the crazy person that's talking about flat earth. And I just made it magic, so there you go. So yeah, looking at... That's garbage. That looks like trash. I don't know if Incarnate actually has an option for a round map, at least not in the free one, probably. So, which is completely fine. I can make do with what I've got. So, you've got your areas here. That's your classic here be dragons that people don't venture into unless they're A, crazy, or B, desperate. For what? Who knows? And this is where the leaks to the Evershade are. Here at the edges here. So, yeah, there's our general idea. I need to put some rivers in here because otherwise it looks real bad. So, let's see. Let's cut some rivers. Oh, I can't make it any smaller than that, huh? Alright, well, that's gonna have to deal. I guess that's as... Is it really as small as I can get? Alright, that's fine. Okay, that's... I guess we don't have to get as crazy with it as necessary as this would require, so... Let's just say that any of these, like, little bays and stuff, so on and so forth, would probably have some, the mouth of a river or something leading into it. And of course, mountain ranges that will come. I don't like that. There we go. That's better. Okay. And then some lakes, of course. Big lakes. Alright. Okay. So, I like the idea immediately that I want where my Gyna Sphinx is from. I want her to be kind of from the center plateau. Oops. Doing the background. Don't want the background foreground, please. There we go. So, let's see. Like the spiral desert, something like that. Like all of this is kind of desert island kind of vibes here, more or less. And that's where your tomb is. The player very much wants to mess with the Egyptian type theming with their character, so there we go. And then, you know, you've got your snowy bits. And in between there's going to be mountains, so there's going to be snowy bits there, of course. But at your poles, which I know doesn't make sense when you're got a flat earth, necessarily, but we're just going to mess with it. And say that there's other biomes. Here. There we go. There. Yeah, so just some poles to mess with it, and I mean, technically I know, like, this, if you're thinking, I guess that, yeah, it would make sense that it's a desert if it's flat, or at least if it's, like, a rounded kind of treetop like we're talking about. So, if it's the highest point, then either it's snowy or it's, like, tundra desert, but we're just gonna go with desert because magic exists, and we really don't need to explain everything geographically. So... Yeah, so I think the characters... Here, let me get my little... I'm gonna have to just represent it with one mountain, I think, because I can't make the shape I was thinking of. But there is... they're going to a place called the Viridescent Valley, which is home to a newly formed homestead, or steading, as you will, of very few people. That is being run by a person that just decided... The Viridescent Valley is kind of known to be this very much wildlands kind of area. There's very strange things, and it is literally a valley in that it is surrounded on all four sides by a mountain range. Does that make sense? Nah. You know, I've never read Discworld, and I desperately want to. I will look that up, though. How do they do directions in Discworld? Because that sounds interesting, and maybe that's exactly what I will do. I know I need to read Discworld. Don't worry. I'm aware. I have one of their books that my friend just bought me for Christmas. I have yet. It's the cat one. Maurice and the something. It's a cat one. I love cats, so my friends were just like, here's a cat book. So I think the Viridescent Valley, let's put that there in the middle. And, ooh, the text does not need to be that big. There we go. Viridescent Finest, I think that's how I spelled it, Valley. So that's where they are starting. Or traveling to in their escort mission, to be more specific. Um, Now, they're going from a place, a city called Hollow Hill, which is a giant city built into the mouth of a huge cave, like carved out of the walls themselves, or like the houses and stuff like that. Um, so, yeah, and if I have any similarities to Discworld as I'm making this, that is not on purpose, I promise you. I know very little of the series, and I desperately want to read it, but it's one of those things that I'm a little overwhelmed with, and I know you can start anywhere. I know that's kind of the point, but I always get overwhelmed with really big series like that. So I just haven't started it yet. I will though. We'll start with Maurice, and then we'll see how I branch out. I know there's a witchy one. There's a witchy book series, like the Wise Witches of something. I don't know what they're called, but that's the one I know. I'm pretty sure I want to start with after I read Maurice. So we have Hollow Hill. Like I said, it's in a cave, a giant cave. And it's only about 3 days travel, so it's not too far. So we're gonna put it. I'm gonna say there's more mountains. Like this is a kind of the middle here is kind of this mountainous region. So we're gonna just go ahead and kind of put Hollow Hill. Let's say it's like a sea blown like cave, so it's towards the ocean. The ocean. These would be seas, I think, technically. What makes a sea versus an ocean? They give directions as rimwards toward edge, and hubwards toward center, then clockwise and anti-clockwise. Interesting. Okay, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'll have to. I like that. I like that, and yeah, that would make the most sense because there's no north, south, east, yada yada. Why did you move all the way over here? How do I move you? There we go. There we go. You can see it a little better. Yeah, that would make like so bow words, I guess, like the boughs of a tree. The edge, canopy, downward. There'd be like up and down, maybe. Because they're gonna be talking about the veil and stuff, but they're not going towards the veil in it anytime soon. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it would be like you said. It would be rimwords and hubwords. That's funny. I really need to read those books. Because it'll probably give me even more ideas for this world. To be fair, I will get to that. I promise you. I guess I'll move Maurice on my TBR. Trunk words could be. Yeah, trunk words and then bow words. Bow words? Bow. Bow? The bow. Is it bow or bow of a tree? Shit. uh. It's bow. It's in Rockabye Baby. Hang on. Rockabye Baby, I'll let you shout. When the bow breaks. When the bow breaks, the cradle will fall. Oh yeah, it's a bow. It's bow. Okay. So bow words. And trunk words. Okay. I like that. Or stem words or something if you want to get fancy with it. But bow words makes the most sense. Or bow words and then trunk words. Okay, I need to write that somewhere. Hang on. Directions. So it'd be bow. I think that's how you spell it. Bow words. And trunk words. And it would be widdershins. Widdershins is an old word for. Is it anti or clockwise? Hold on. Widdershins. In counterclockwise. So it would be widdershins, which would be anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. And then, what's the opposite of widdershins? I get aside from clockwise. Is there another cool word for it? Middle Low German Wettersinnes. Against the way. Widersinnen. Arsinnen. So Widdershins and Shins? That sounds kinda cool. Hang on, save me word hippo. If you don't know this site, it is a lifesaver for writers. Just to give you all those good old thesaurus kind of... Oh, they only live... Okay. The wrong way! Let's see. No, I don't need... No, I don't need... Well, this is not a great... this is not a great ad for it, because it's not as well practiced in these particular words, but it is very, very useful. Counterclockwise, opposite from clockwise. Is there any other cool words for clockwise? Nope. Okay. Okay, so we don't have a cool witchy word for clockwise. Man, I want something though. So if we're doing Widdershins, which is this way for me, you're probably seeing the opposite. What's something that matches it of that kind of idea, that Widdershins? If it's German, hang on. Now we go to Google Translate. I was learning German for a while and then I stopped. Let's translate to German from English. Okay, let's see. What does right way? Richtiger. Oh.
Richtiger Weg.
Weg. Richtiger Weg. So, Wictishins? Widdershins and Wictishins? Nah. What do they have for clockwise? Nope. Orzigershin. Orzigershin. Whew. Alright, that's not giving me anything. That's okay, we'll figure it out. We will start Widdershins, because it just sounds cool. It sounds more witchy than just clockwise, counterclockwise. Okay, that's fun. Alright, so... what other little stamps can we use? So I've got, let's see, like mountain ranges going through the middle here. So, oh, not that many, Jesus. Oh man, this is sensitive. I think you can like change it. Widdershins and Hintonshins. Hiddenshins. Widdershins, Hiddenshins. I like it. Hinton, like hinter, like hinterlands. Like, okay. So like hintershins. Hintershins? Because that's more Germanic sounding. Hinter. So hintershins. I like hintershins. That sounds cool. Hintershins. Clockwise. We'll go with that. That'll be my first draft. We'll see if I come up with anything, or if anybody inspires something more direct sounding. But I like hintershins. So cool kind of crescent mountain range going through the center here. Not going through the whole thing quite yet. Yeah, hintershins. Awesome. Alright, so now this big thing, this big continent is I'm so smart. This whole area, this one crescent isle is Arcadia. It's going to be the nation of Arcadia. Well, I don't know if I'm going to worry too much about naming all the other ones right now. Arcadia, of course, taken from the old name for where the Fae live, basically. So, Yeah, let's name this. What's a... Hang on. Go back to word hippo. So we got like swirl or... Let's see, what do we got? Whirl, spin, twist, billow. Billow. I didn't know that was a name for spirals. Because they're like the spiral isles could be something, because I guess these are, yeah, these are technically isles. And then the like the vortex desert. Spiral, okay. So I know I just said we weren't going to worry about naming everything, and now I'm in it. The Spiral Isles. Sure. Now what's the desert called? What's the center of a spiral called? The vortex. The vortex. Whirlpool, maelstrom, swirl, eddy, chair. I don't even know what that word is. Cyclone desert sounds cool. Water spout, not where we're going. Twisted desert. That could work. Bright tendril. Circle spiral motion. Zodiac. Oh, Zodiac is technically the Zodiac desert. Ooh, ecliptic. Yeah, like the Eye of a Storm, kind of. Yeah. The Oracle Desert? I don't know why I thought of that, but that's a word that came to me. The Desert of Oracles. The Oracle Desert. This is what world building looks like. For anyone watching now or later, this is what it is. This is you racking your brain for names of things. That is a good 40% of world building and trying to make it sound cool. That is so much of world building, it's not even funny. It really is. The ring, the curved bead sphere. Revolution, incurvation, snaking. The snaking desert. That, I mean, it could be. Actually, the player that is playing Nubia does love snakes. That's one of their big things. They have a pet snake. Okay, so maybe I should do something snake related. So let's see. So slithering desert, sidewinder desert. Sidewinder desert sounds kind of cool. Or like viper desert. Ooh, sidewinder, viper, diamondback desert. I'm just going through snakes that I know. Diamondback desert sounds cool too. What if it's called Diamondback because like the tomb that Nubia was guarding, there are like there are pyramids like sticking out of the sand at various areas, and they're like made out of like quartz or something, but they call it Diamondback because the way they catch the sun is cool. Does that sound cool, or is that lame? Diamondback. Diamondback desert sounds... I like it. I don't know. If somebody comes up with something better, please make suggestions, but I'm gonna go with Diamondback Desert right now as like a placeholder at the very least. Oops. Aspis Desert. You gotta be careful with names like that, because you're gonna have a lot of ass desert, you know, that kind of thing. How did I make you so small? No, go back. There we go. And it would be hard to say while we're conversing, and I more likely to make a flub that the players are gonna go haha at, you know. So you gotta you gotta be careful for stuff like that. So yeah, asps. Yeah. Ooh, not too. God, I can't read that. There we go. Um, let's see. What kind of desert snakes are there? This is, again, this is all what world building is. Let's see, what do we got? Coral snake, of course. Black mamba, very cool. Cobra. Horn vipers. Nubian spitting cobras. Saw-scaled vipers. That sounds cool. Sidewinder. Western diamondback. Coach whip. That sounds cool and mean to the poor snake. Desert king snakes, glossy snakes, gopher snakes, long-nosed snakes, patch-nosed snakes, rosy boas. That sounds adorable. Sound boas, western ground snake, leaf-nosed snake. I think I'm gonna stick with Diamondback Desert for now. I actually might ask the player, because they also enjoy naming things, so maybe they have a better idea of some snake vibes that I could go with. But I'll ask them at some point, sometime soon. So, but Diamondback is a good placeholder as any. So we have the Viridescent Valley. We need, I mean, we could do like the Crescent Mountains, but again, that's gonna make the players want to say croissant, and then it becomes a meme, and then it becomes a thing. As much as I appreciate my humor at the table, I don't want to make it too easy for them. Falcate. Crescentiform. Wow. Sickle. Sickle Mountains, the Bow Mountains. Bent, rounded, embowed. Embowed. Sounds cool. Arcuate. Arciform. Flexural. Flexural. Oh, that's a hard one. Menesis. Broad in the center, tapering to a point at each end. I don't know if I've ever read this word. Meniscus? Meniscus. The shape of a single curve. Meniscus Mountain. Meniscus. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not going to play any more audio for anybody, so I don't hurt any ears unintentionally. If we do, like, a moon, if we... Lunaria Mountains. If we're doing it... Luminor. That's very Tolkien. Isn't there something called Luminor in Tolkien? Oh boy. It's Numenor, not Luminor. Okay, nah, that's too close though. I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to be too Tolkien with my fantasy. I'm really trying to push the boundaries of that. I've done a lot of Tolkien-based stuff in my past games, so don't want to do too much of that. Sickle Mountains could work for a general name for the mountain range, because if the society, especially of Arcadia, of the main nation of the world that we're going to be focused on for this game, it's a very, you know, oh, what's the word? They're very, it's a farming and nature-based society, in that they respect nature, and they don't, you know, do what we do to our Earth and destroy it for capitalist gains. So the Sickle Mountains could work pretty okay for that. So we're just gonna... can I, like... Oh, I can curve it. Oh, that's fun. How do I... There we go. Alright, I'm gonna have to move Arcadia here. Hang on. No, not you. I need that. Thank you. And we're just gonna twirl her so I know what I'm talking about. Here we go. Make it a little bigger. There we go. And then you can... Oh, whoops. The Sickle Mountains. Alright, great. So we'll just put that there. The Viridescent Valley's there. Hollow Hill is here. Okay, so I'm just trying to mark where my characters are from first and foremost. Get ideas for their growing up. And I have some messages and ideas from my players. Let me take a look very quickly. Let's see. Let's see. old villages. Alright, so the ranger is definitely of, she says, an old village. So again, I'm going to put this based in Arcadia. Let me see, do they have a village stamp? Yes, they do. Alright, so let's see. If they're from an old village, I mean the first and oh, okay. Yes, I'm excited to see. Hang on. Let's open that up first. Okay, vector of a tree. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Oh, look at you! You even have, like, the little marks of the trunk. Oh, shit. Yeah, you're better at this than I am. That is super cool. I love that. Oh, well, damn. The shape's very, very cool. Wait, where's mine? In comparison, it definitely looks more like a tree. Very cool. Okay, so I can mess with that. I can get something akin to that. I do like how you do. I should definitely do that. And kind of paint in those lines like you did. At the very least, that'll help the tree aspect of it. So you did like. Okay, I see what you did there. Okay. Hang on. I love this. I love it. Background. Okay. So if this is the main. So these seas are going to be pretty interesting as well. They might be. I don't know if they'd be like more shallow or deeper, but we're just going to mark them as something a little bit different. Yeah. I really like the way it looks too. So I'm just gonna darken this area as a general, because if it's the center of the tree, that's where all that will coalesce. Don't know what my cat is doing, he's playing with something. And then it's gonna make it a little smaller here so I can get the... I'm not gonna be able to do it as cool as you did. There we go. Maybe a little bigger. Go. Big branches. And then like... Kinda like that. I am not an artist. Hang on. We'll get the idea. Now they all kind of look like their own little tree, but that's okay. That makes it a little bit more interesting, if you ask me. And then it's gonna get thinner as you go out. So everything's a little less stable. Oh, that's... Okay. So, kinda... Yep. Yeah, tracing helps. You just came up with a brilliant way of doing it. You did a really good job, though. It looks great. Okay. Alright, and then we do little branching off bits. These all kind of connect like this. Big branch again. Yeah. Cool. Okay, that's, you know, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Maybe I can do it better. Maybe my husband can do it better, frankly. He's got a steadier hand than I do. But, no, that's a brilliant idea, and you really brought the whole idea forward really well, and that's a brilliant way of doing it. That's really cool. Maybe I'll put a little bit more holes in places as well. Maybe I'll maybe I should fill this in a little bit more. Maybe the centerpiece. Oops, nope. Okay, so maybe the desert can be a little bit more, a little wider here. So, yeah, and then I can mess with the shape of things and kind of like you did. Maybe, well, I want that crescent shape really bad, so we're gonna leave Arcadia largely alone. Um, but yeah, you did great. It looks really cool, but we're gonna mess with these shapes here, I think, a little bit. And then ask my cat to stop being a dick. Hey! Psst. Alright, and then like this. Alright, that's great. Okay. Go. Some more desert land over here. Okay, let's do more connecting areas, because I think that's what made it look more tree-like in yours, is those little bits that you're left open, kind of. So it's like these big lakes and stuff. So we're gonna just kind of mess with that a bit. Yeah, so less islands, like, of being little spits of land, and stuff being a little bit more open land. So, here we go. Okay. Kind of gotten rid of that crescent shape, but that's okay. That's okay. We can deal. It's still kind of there in general, especially when you follow the mountains. It kind of gives you that idea, and I kind of like that. Alright. It connects people a little bit more of the world, so it's less about, you know, taking big long boat rides to places, and like most places you can get to on foot in one way or another, whatever that means. I'm gonna cut into this here a little bit. Sure. Okay. I think... Let me just get this colored in a little bit more here. And... Shh. It's my cat. Don't mind him. No, it's not food time. He thinks it's always food time. Okay. Great. Alright, so... We've got Hollow Hill, we've got the Viridescent Valley, we got the Sickle Mountains, we got the Diamondback Desert. Then I need something to represent an old village. We're gonna put that over. Whoops. Let's say. Let's see. How about we put it a little bit farther towards the poles? She's meant to be a nature-based person, and she wants to rediscover that. So she needs to be in a place that's not as the level of nature as she would like to be. So somewhere closer to the poles. Why would they would be there? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let's say somewhere like here. And good old-fashioned village name generator. Let's see what we got. Woodhurst. Woodhurst sounds boring. Kinalin. Kinalin? Oh, let me see. Your maps, I mean, already. Very cool. Let that baby load for a second. Willesden. Bardford. Leonarcost is interesting. Leonarcost. Leonarcost. Ooh, look at that. Oh, you got the shape right and everything, too. I love the way you did the biomes and stuff. The center area is really really cool. Is it like, I'm guessing it's supposed to be swampland, and that's very cool. I love a good swampland. Um, I love how you did the little trace marks to show where they've been and stuff too. That's fun. I assume that's what that is, of course. I might be wrong. It's based on something like a piece of media, like, or like the shape is based on something. I really like it. If it's is it based on like a movie or a video game or something? If it's something I have to look like upside down at, that's gonna be a problem. It is hard to guess what. Borders for nations. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, I like the whole nation being like this one risen up plateau. That's interesting. Pretty good way of like marking where your place stops. Yeah, I haven't gotten into the geopolitical like outlook on my world quite yet. And I may not. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, but I don't think that's going to be the main focus of my campaign or anything. To start, at least, certainly. It's where I'm weak as a GM. I'm really not good at the height map of Mars. Oh. Yeah, I don't... That's... Huh. Interesting. So this would be Mars, you know, however long ago when there was water on it. That's cool. I like it. That's really cool. I really like it. A lot of lakes and stuff in this area. That's interesting. That's very cool. Airedale, Tarmsworth. Ugh. Walden. Walden is just an actual place. It's where... Okay, sure. I think it's in Boston. Right? Walden Pond? Something like that. Whale Drake. Whale Drake sounds cool. Whaler Drake. Whale Drake. Whaler Drake. I like it, but something's not right. Carlisle. North Pass, Rose Lake, Lanarcost. Ooh, that's like Welsh. Troutback, Wealdstone. There's some like... The volcano on the plateau is Olympus Mons, highest volcano in the solar system. No kidding. Wow. That stuff freaks me out. I got like megalophobia rather. And the whole solar system is on Mars. That's very interesting. Lakes area peppered with crate. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably got hit a lot. Aberdeen. Aberdeen sounds like a old village name. I kind of like that. Let's do that. Okay, we're gonna turn you around. There we go. Where's the curve? I don't need a curve. Ooh, 0, please. No. There we go. And then we're gonna do Aberdeen. Aberdeen, I feel like is from something, and I'm just not remembering what it is. It might just actually be a place. I don't know. Okay. Fantastic. Now I need a forest area for my gobbo pals. So I wish there was a darker green available, but that's okay. So I think the goblins will be here. Like there's a foresty area around this lake. That would make sense. Here. Let's zoom it on in. There we go. Alrighty, so let's see. Give me some trees. Here we go. So big, thick forest here. This is... There we go. So think of your, Forbidden Forest from HP, or Fangorn Forest from Tolkien. Your big, thick, huge trees. And centered around a lake kind of just makes sense to me. Alright. Alright. Okay. So this is Gobbo Forest. What is actually within the forest that makes the goblins want to go for it? We'll find out. We will discover that together, I think. And what even more important, what keeps other... Is Aberdeen in Scotland? It sounded like a real place. So we'll go with that. It sounded real. I don't know if I heard it in a movie or something. Hard to tell. Alright. So there's our forest where the Gobbos live. Alright, so what's the name of our forest? Help me, Obi-Wan fantasy name generator. Forest names, here we go. Elegant Garden Grove, parallel the Mammoth Thicket. Elminster. Oh, Elminster! Elminster made a showing here. Wild Thorn Timberland. I like wild thornberries. Oh no. I ruin everything for myself, really. I can't even blame my players. They're all too young to even know that reference. So it's all my fault. Bednin Wood. Bednin. I like how it sounds, but it's hard to say. Tired Harlequin Thicket. Harlequin. The Harlequin Woods. Why would they get that name? I like it, but why? Shh. Somebody's messaging me and I don't know why. Let's see. Harlequin. I really like Harlequin Woods, but I don't know... You know what? That's what we have placeholders for. We don't have to figure out everything right now. I like it, and it's going in. Harlequin Forest. Let's do that. Alright, let me spin you right round, baby. Let's make that a little smaller, I think. I'll just go to 10. There we go. Alright. I like Harlequin's Forest. That's all I need. I just need to like it and find it fun. We will mess with that later and what that means. Alright. Cool. So, I've got where Nubia's from, I've got where Azalea's from, I've got where Spore is from, and now I've got to find the village that my warlock was from. So they would have to be largely, largely sequestered away from the rest of society. So I'm thinking like a survivalist kind of area, so less of a city and more of like a village. And our resident warlock was unfortunate enough to be born to parents there. And I have an idea of what their whole backstory is and why she's a half-elf and stuff like that, and that will be discovered as we go. But I'm thinking maybe one of these little island communities here on the verge, on the edges here. Actually, I should add a few more, I think, just because it seems empty elsewhere. There we go. Man, they say you're changing the size of it, but it kind of stays the same, don't it? Alright. So... we're gonna... let's see. No, work with me here. There we go. Let's do something like over here, I think. Might have gone for Old English with Elminster, based on Elm. Yeah, and Minster. Yeah, that's true. The Church of the Elms, I like that. So I'm gonna stick our little village kind of... Shh. He's meowing at the birds. He's gonna... let's see. Should I put it farther in? I think more of the survivalist stuff would be out here. So I think I'm gonna... put it... let's say here. Let's do... yeah. Okay. So there's that. Where that is. Now where's my village names? We're gonna go back. Oops. There we go. Far Water is a good one. It's boring enough. Lakeshore. Okay, Far Water. Norfolk, Acton. Eldom. Don't even know what's happening with that. I don't even know how you say that. King Cardine. Farwater definitely sounds like a Skyrim-esque name for something. It's definitely something that the people call it, which would make sense to this kind of place, because it's very structured and set in its ways kind of place. So Farwater... yeah, Farwater makes sense to me. So... it's boring, but it's descriptive. Can't argue with that. Alright, so that is everything currently involved in the game marked. The characters' backstories and hometowns, the nation in which they are, the place that they're going, the place that they start in. So that's a good start, I think. And we got a little bit more of that tree vibe thanks to you, Edwin, for that suggestion and showing us your talent in tracing. It's honestly better than I could do. Hush. And Thumbs is angry because it's not even food time yet. He thinks it is. Okay, fantastic. So in regards to the geopolitical ideas of Arcadia itself, first and foremost, again, starting from where the players are, and we'll move out from there. I was talking about this on a previous stream, in which we were talking about how I'd want, the government to be here, and my immediate thought process when I was first coming up with this world was I wanted a ruler that's a bit like the childlike empress from Neverending Story. Kind of that weird alien, like that voice that she had always kind of, it's not necessarily creeped me out, but like the way she spoke was very ethereal and a little eerie to me. And I'm sure that was on purpose, and she always had that kind of, she never really emoted, and that's not any problem with the actress, I don't think, who is great, and she actually has an Instagram where she talks about going to cons and stuff and doing signings and stuff. She's very cool. But the way that she spoke, this kind of not monosyllabic, but this monotone kind of way, always weirded me out as a kid. So I want to kind of get that across in the Queen of Arcadia. Whether or not she's actually Fae or anything like that, I'm gonna go probably not, but maybe she has made contact with the Fae in the past. Um, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas about the Fae, in all the time in every world that I'm in. I want the Fae to be represented in some way, and luckily my players are giving me a lot of ammunition to do that with. So, yay! But as for how many other nations there are, that's another question. Arcadia is going to be a pretty, probably one of the biggest kingdoms. Going to be most of this island here, or it's not really even an island at this point, I don't think. Um, and then like starting maybe with this edge here and over, like where the spiral isles are. Maybe it starts like here, and it's kind of this whole area. That's its own nation as well. Um, Again, we'll figure out what that means and what the ruler's like and what the actual government is like. Um, yeah, and then I'll have to do outlines like you did it, Edwin, and figure out where everything starts and stops, basically. Um, yeah, sorry, I just got lost in my own thought process there. I should probably do some more land masses here on the edge, just to have those edges represented. That's where other crazy people live that are not afraid of the beasties that be in the oceans. There we go. Uh-huh. I'll have to change that background, that's okay. There we go. There we go. Maybe a smaller one over here. And then maybe some general island nations, or maybe not even nations. Like these might just be like the wastelands that people don't go towards or whatever, and there's only like really hardy people that live there or that escape to there, and they're trying to, maybe that's where the dwarves are. Maybe these are all like mountainous islands, volcanic kind of stuff, here at the edge, and that's where um, a lot of dwarvish nations are. So we gotta fill that in. I'll color that in a minute. Make that a little better. Psst. Alright. It's a bit chaotic, and it's gonna be real hard to trace various areas. I might have to do it with like coloring. I might have to do like copy this and like color it in, with the background instead of just, you know, outlining it necessarily, because I don't know if that's going to be what we're going for. Actually, most of this honestly should be this green, because it's meant to be kind of verdant and stuff. So here, let me change this. There we go. Aside from the desert, of course, but we're gonna make that a little bit more. I wish there was a deeper green for this, I really do. Because that's kind of what I'm more going for. Not necessarily like rainforest vibes, but definitely deep, healthy forest kind of stuff. I'll recolor in the desert here in a second and get it figured out as far as the shape goes. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'll just have to recolor most of this. That's fine. These will probably have to be recolored too, because they might be a little bit different as far as biomes goes. Here we go. Oh, those are supposed to be desert, aren't they? Ah, that's fine. Alright, so if we take that, was that the desert? Yeah. We're gonna say most of the deserted area is kind of around here. here. Good old desert islands. Why are there desert islands? I don't know. Because the DM said so. Alright. There we go. Something about the weather patterns in this area are just particularly desert-like. I know most deserts are kind of like cut across, so that's what we're gonna do here, at least in the real world. Again, like I said, I don't have to make this make sense, but you know, at least the small amount of geography knowledge that I have of like weather patterns and why deserts are the way they are, I want represented. So we'll just do it like that. Seems that Tammy Stronach, who played the childlike empress, will be playing the witch in the upcoming movie called Man and Witch. Oh, shit. Described as a heartwarming homage to lo-fi fantasy films of the 80s and comic adventure that both fulfills and subverts the expectations of what a fantasy universe can be. Hell yeah! Wow, that's like they pulled a movie idea right out of my brain. And I was like, yeah, let's have the childlike empress as the lead, because who else would be a witch? That sounds awesome. Yes. Yes. All of that. Give it to me. I will watch it. I will watch it, and I will probably like it. And I don't care what any Rotten Tomatoes BS says, but I think I will like it, and I want it to happen. I want it now. That movie is so integral to me, like, as a person. It's like the Never-Ending Story and like The Labyrinth and Dark Crystal. Like, those are such huge movies for me. And I know that's the same for most people my age. But like, and the Never-Ending Story was, I feel like, the bigger one. I feel like the Labyrinth and everything and the Dark Crystal have more staying power. Just for I don't know what reason. I mean, maybe I don't know. But I did watch it as an adult with my husband. He watched it for the first time. He had never seen it before. He hated it, and I not hated it, but he just didn't like it. He didn't like. I don't know, he just said it was unrealistic, and I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the point. Bless his heart. And he likes fantasy like I do. But he's much more of a sci-fi guy, so he likes the scientific aspect of things, and a kid being able to summon a wish dragon from a book and you know, bully his own bullies was, I guess, too much for him. I don't know why. I love that movie so much. Oh my god, I need to watch it again. I'll watch it by myself. I don't care. He liked The Labyrinth and he liked Dark Crystal. He had never seen those either. So I showed him that. I showed him Willow. I showed all that fantasy. Princess Bride vibes. Yes! That's all I want in movies anymore. I'm so tired of like I'm tired of superhero movies. Like, I liked them at first. Like, I was part of the audience in the demo when they first started that stuff. The geeks that wanted to see their heroes on the big screen. I wasn't huge in comics until like I saw like Spider-Man. Was Spider-Man first or was it Iron Man? I can't remember. But either way, I loved them. I still do. But I haven't seen a Marvel movie since Endgame, and I'm really not interested. Same thing with Star Wars. I didn't see Star Wars until I was an adult, like mid-20s. And yeah. I'm not a sci-fi person, really. I like some sci-fi, but not a lot of it. But yeah, if it's anything like The Princess Bride, anything like Never-Ending Story, any of that good old-fashioned 80s fantasy, just give it to me. It's my vibe. It is absolutely my vibe. And I think the world needs more fantasy movies. I don't think we're getting nearly enough. We had, you know, the closest we've had lately is The Witcher, and we all know how that fucking happened. I'm still mad. I'm still mourning, and I won't watch the new seasons. But We almost had it. We almost had it with The Witcher. We almost had like a revival of like what fantasy could be and have that, that amazing uh, balance of fantasy epicness and funny. And it was hilarious and it was interesting. That first season was so good. That's alright. C'est la vie. Producers, what are you gonna do? Alchemist wizard who blew himself up. Okay, I'm here for it. Aww. Look at how cute. I love the costuming already. I'm absolutely here for it. We're just, you just show me a movie called Man and Witch, and I'm just like, yes, yes, please. Anything with a witch, put it in me. I want it, give it to me. Not enough witchy movies. We haven't had a craft kind of thing or practical magic, fantastic movie, any of that for a long damn time. And we need more witches in media. Books are going crazy with witches. Witchy books are a big thing right now, and I guess this is maybe Hollywood starting to catch up. I hope. We can hope. But, in interest of that, and in excitement for that witchy stuff, I'm gonna have to end the stream here. Because I gotta feed my cats, and I gotta go get ready for the gym. Please, if you are watching, lurking, I love you. Thank you so much for hanging out. Edwin, thank you for your suggestions. Please follow. And I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 12 to 2 Eastern. And I'll probably pepper in some other ones in between there, if I have time. And we're going to continue to create the World of Galdor. I would love to have as many outlooks and perspectives as I possibly can get. Whether you're new to the RPG scene... thank you, Edwin. You're the best. I love you. Thank you. Whether you're new or old to the RPG scene, I want everybody's outlooks and perspectives, like I said. I will also be uploading this stream on YouTube, so if anybody misses it and wants to check out what we've built so far, they can revert back to it, and I can revert back to it, which is the main reason I do this. Yeah, so Wednesday we'll be continuing on maybe filling out the map or what have you, I'm not sure yet. But I appreciate you hanging out. Any of my lurkers out there, thank you so much. I will see you Wednesday. Have a great beginning of your week. Don't forget to play pretend, drink water, stretch your body, and have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.